start? Thank you. Good evening, everybody. I'm Rick Pfeiffer from the Niagara Gazette. We want to welcome you to the Democratic primary candidates debate sponsored by the NAACP of Sioux Falls chapter and the Niagara Gazette. We appreciate you coming out. We're going to have a fun time tonight while we ask a bunch of questions, but we're going to begin the debate by asking everyone to rise and join us in the pledge of allegiance. Thank you. Let me quickly introduce my co-moderator, Renee Kimball. Most of you, I think, are well familiar with Ms. Kimball's work in the community. She is a former Niagara County legislator. She is the current president of the Falls chapter of the NAACP. And nobody knows the Falls, I don't think, as well or as thoroughly as Ms. Kimball. So we're looking forward to her questioning tonight. Quickly, the rules for the debate. We have 6 candidates on the stage. Each candidate will get 2 minutes to introduce themselves to you and explain why they're running for office. We'll offer 8 to 10 questions for the 6 candidates between now and about 7:40. At 7:40, we will begin to wrap up the debate by giving each candidate a minute and a half to sum up again why they are running and why they are looking for your vote. Each candidate will get a minute and 30 seconds to answer every question. They will answer the question directly to the moderators. They will not comment on other candidates' answers, and there will be no rebuttal permitted. Those are the rules. The candidates have all agreed to them. And with that, we will get started. And Renee, you have the first question. I'm assuming everybody knew the candidates. All right, we'll begin from left to right with John Kinney.
First and foremost, I'd like to thank the Niagara Gazette and the NAACP and all the residents who have showed up here tonight and those watching at home for taking the time to have this forum for us to give our points and our thoughts on how we want to lead the city in the future. I'm a lifelong resident of the city of Niagara Falls. I'm a widowed father of 2 boys, AJ and Connor. I am a retired worker from the city of Niagara Falls, where I put in 35 years in service to the city of Niagara Falls. I started off as cutting grass in the Parks Department, went to sanitation, went to the Streets Department, also worked 15 years in the Niagara Falls Police Department in the Parking Violations Bureau before returning back to Department of Public Works, where in my last 3 years of service, I held the position of Director of Parks and Public Works for the city of Niagara Falls. During my career with the city, I've been able to hold office not only in the hourly civil service union, but also as president of the civil service and an officer in the hourly civil unions. So I've got a vast knowledge of how the workings of every department goes on in the city of Niagara Falls. I think I bring a unique background that not too many candidates in quite so many years has been able to bring before the residents. I worked on the budget in the Department of Public Works and Parks, which is probably one of the highest, I believe it is the highest budget in all of the budget, in all of Niagara Falls' city budgets, because of the multiple departments that fall underneath us. have worked in many different organizations throughout my life. I'm a former president of the Niagara Falls Wrestling Club, a former president of Cataract Little Football, coached many years of baseball, and I want to bring civility and facts to the residents of Niagara Falls.
Thank you, John. Our next candidate is Michaela Lee.
Hi, it's Micaiah Lee. I am a lifelong resident as well. But before I get started, I would like everyone to know that I found out about this on accident, is what I will say, in a group chat that Frank Hanley started, and if it wasn't for Noah mentioning it, I don't think I would have been here along with two other candidates. I was also sent an email not to have my phone notes or anything like that, so just put that out there. It was highly discouraged for me not to have any notes. But anyway, yes, I am Micaiah Lee. I am a lifelong resident. I am a content creator. I went to one city council meeting and noticed that I had to be up here. People have been here for a very, very long time. A lot of repeated names, and the city is just what the city is. We have nothing for our seniors. We have nothing for our children. Our children are the future. I am very, very big on children. Their environment, it alters their way of thinking, their way of dreaming, and things like that. The full details of who I am aren't important. What is important is what I am. In just a short amount of 5 days, I received 836 authentic signatures, and that is why I'm up here. And I hope that I stay up here and actually make you guys proud. If not, hold me accountable. Hold me accountable, and I think that's what the city needs, is accountability. Not re-elections, no offense. If they aren't, I mean, come on, look at the condition of the city.
Thank you, Micaiah.
Okay.
Our next candidate is Bridget Miles.
Good evening.
Good evening, my name is Bridget Miles, and I want to first of all thank the Niagara Gazette, the NAACP, and the Niagara Falls City School Districts for allowing us to have this platform. Thank you so much for the residents for coming out today. I am a proud New York State certified MWBE business owner. I am the founder of a non-for-profit, and I am also a certified New York State broker for the New York State Office of the People for Developmental Disabilities. I am a mom also outside of that. I am a grandmom, and I am looking to change Niagara Falls. I am looking to take it in a new direction. I worked almost 10 years at City Hall, but behind the scenes, I was the first African American to ever serve as the executive assistant to the mayor. So this is a full circle moment for me. I've seen the good, the bad, and I've seen all the things behind the scenes. So I am ready to get along with the administration, hold them accountable, and to be able to serve you guys. I am here to help with the policy, to help taxpayers, the community, and I know 100%, they say don't make promises, but I can promise you, if I am elected, I can sit at that table and represent you, which will represent all people. So thank you so much for being here, and I look forward to serving you.
Thank you, Ms. Miles. Our next candidate is Dr. Miles.
Good evening. I'd like to say once again thank you to the NAACP, Niagara Gazette, and Belliniva Bond School for hosting this tonight. So what brought me to the city council chambers was probably back late 2016. I'm running for re-election now because I am the city councilman today. However, just to give you a back story, I was a little bit perturbed about a lot of our services, so I decided to go to the place where the decisions were being made. And so to hold city government accountable, I stood at the same podium that I actually look at now and I actually receive information from today. So at that time, I was not impressed with the level of, let's say, the commitment of the governing body as pertaining to how they received us, how they received the questions and whatnot, and I didn't feel like we were heard, and I didn't feel like we had any real representation in City Hall. So at that point, that kind of, in my heart, forced me to actually run. I have children here, I have family here, I'm born and raised here in the city of Niagara Falls. I serve, I believe in operating in a servant type attitude as far as me being city council. The voice of the people matter. The people in power should never outweigh the power of people. So therefore, I'm seeking re-election because there's some things that still needs to be done and some things that just simply needs to be undone. I'm here to be a voice for the people and continuously try to serve and to be a solid person with transparency and integrity. So that's why I'm running for the city council seat.
Thank you, Dante. Noah Munoz is our next candidate.
Thank you. Is this thing on?
If I can get a message to the audio people in the back of the room, you need to turn up the volume on the microphones, guys.
Check, check, check. Yeah, I think it's pretty low. Check, 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 check. Yeah, it's good? Okay. My name is Noah Munoz. I'm 27 years old, and I'm a business owner, a real estate professional, and above all, a concerned citizen in the city of Niagara Falls. And I'm proud to be a young professional in Niagara Falls, and I'm stepping up because I believe our city's best days are ahead of us, not behind us. I'll bring energy, focus, transparency, and practical experience to help move us all forward. This is about restoring pride in what should be one of the great wonders of the world, our city that we all call home. We have a lot of pride in the city of Niagara Falls, and it's time our government reflects that. And it's time that we have professionals that reflect that pride as well. So, I'm very thankful to be up here. I thank the Niagara Gazette, I thank the NAACP, and more importantly, I thank you, Niagara Falls, our city as a whole. Your pride will not be unnoticed, and I will make sure that I am a representation of what Niagara Falls is and should be. Thank you.
Our final candidate is Silvana Rahman.
Hello, my name is Silvana Rahman, and I am also 27 years old, and I have been working as a software test engineer for the past 6-7 years. During that time, I have been in Niagara Falls. I believe I'm one of the only candidates that have not been born and brought up here. I was born and brought up in New York City, and I came here 5-6 years ago. And somebody coming from not Niagara Falls, I can see what potential that Niagara Falls City has. I want to bring transparency, accountability, and progress to the city of Niagara Falls. I want to be held accountable. I see the potential in the city. Aside of being a software test engineer, me and my family have invested into Niagara Falls as a family because we are homeowners, we are business owners, we want to stay here, we want to thrive here. So I need to make sure that our youth, our children, stay here and have the facilities for them to thrive and grow. And I am the oldest of 5 sisters, and my youngest sister is 11 years old. Then the one after that 14, the one after that 17, and the one after that 20. They're all in schools, high schools, and college. I am invested here, I'm invested for our future, and I will do everything in my capacity to do what will make Niagara Falls great, to make Niagara Falls thrive, and that's about it. I want to thank all of you for being here, for hearing me out, and I hope to continue be able to serve you guys in any way, shape, or form. Thank you.
Thank you. Our first question will come from Renee.
Thank you all for being a candidate for city council and for stepping up to the plate. It's not an easy job, and it takes a lot of time and effort. So I want to commend each and every one of you for taking on that. What are the top 3 issues that you believe that the residents of Niagara Falls will face in the next 3 years, and how do you plan to solve them?
Silvana, we'll begin with you and move to the left.
So I believe one of the top issues that we have with our city is the infrastructure, our roads, the abandoned buildings. We need to not continue to go for solutions that are bringing the same results, because it's not working for the city of Niagara Falls. So I will push for long-term solutions for our roads and our infrastructure. That is point 1. Point 2 is I believe there is job scarcity in Niagara Falls. We need more opportunities, more jobs, so the residents, the people of Niagara Falls can actually not live paycheck to paycheck. They are struggling to pay rent. Most of them are on welfare because they don't have the opportunities to thrive here. We need more job opportunities. We need more support for the adults and for the youth for Niagara Falls. And number 3, the third most important thing I would focus on is our youth. Our youth is our present and our future. And the average age of Niagara Falls residents is 40 years old. And a lot of our youngsters are either, to be honest, they are going on the streets because they're not receiving specific care or attention, or there's not like enough parks to keep them busy. So we need to make sure that our youth is getting the care that they deserve, that they receive the facilities that they need in order to thrive, because they are our future and we should focus on them. This is the third thing I will push for. So basically, first one, infrastructure, abandoned buildings. Second is more job opportunities for the resident of Niagara Falls to not live paycheck to paycheck. And,
Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Noah, you next.
So sorry, could you repeat the question?
What are the top 3 issues that you believe that the residents of Niagara Falls will face in the next 3 years? How do you plan to solve it?
First off, a $100 million budget is not enough annually for us to sustain Niagara Falls and all of its citizens. The reality is we need economic growth, right? We need to attract clean energy, we need to attract logistics, tech, and manufacturing. We need more jobs in the city of Niagara Falls. We need to work with our schools to help increase trades, help increase our unions, and provide more programs for our youth entering into the job force. We cannot build a strong city on a 3-month tourist season. If we're a tourist city, we need year-round tourism. Now, that might mean that we need indoor water parks, we need winter festivals, but we need something for tourists to do year-round if we're going to rely on tourist dollars. We need to launch small business support, we need to have grants, we need to have mentorship programs that allow people to start businesses here and attract those businesses. We need to partner with NAACP, the unions in the schools, to create these workforce developments. We need to revitalize downtown. We need a better nightlife. We need more events. We need to capitalize on what we have, which is one of the great wonders of the world, and something that we haven't capitalized to our true potential. It's very easy to see, just look over to Canada. The second thing is we need to fix our housing. As a real estate professional, I can help with that. As I look around, I've provided housing for people sitting up here with me right now and others in the crowd. No more boarded up homes. Let's give people grants. Let's give them opportunity. We shouldn't be knocking houses down. We should be saving them. And we should be building new homes.
Thank
Housing.
you, Noah. Guys, just to remind you again, you have a minute and 30 seconds to respond to each question.
Okay, so. Testing, okay, there we go. Okay, so definitely one of the biggest things is infrastructure, our streets, our trees, our sidewalks, the things that deal with our quality of life. And the other portion of that has to do with the neglected portions of our city. Our city is only as strong as the weakest link. So we can't continuously neglect certain portions of our city and think that our city is going to grow. Also, when it comes down to our youth, we do have to provide another alternative for them. We take away, and I've said this often, you know, we have community centers that have closed, have been torn down. Our YMCA is a homeless shelter right now, and we never reinvested in dying back into those spaces for those kids to actually thrive. So we leave them to their own devices. And then what happens? They end up doing things that they may not have any business doing, but they don't have other alternatives as well. Also, we need to make sure that we take care of our seniors as well, because at the end of the day, a lot of them have spent a lot of time here, they've paid a lot of taxes here, they've invested into the city, and we can't overlook them as well. What we'll be facing in the next 3 years, we could be facing bankruptcy if we continuously to frivolously spend our money, our tax dollars. If we don't spend our tax dollars in a manner that it should, that's going to benefit the entire city, not just certain groups of our city, then we will find ourselves bankrupt, and then we'll lose real services such as police, fire, and the things that we really need here. So let's just make sure that that's what I'll always be, you know, a champion for, to make sure that we're fiscally responsible, to make sure that we're spending monies in the right way and asking all of the questions that need to be asked and not just voting yes for anything.
Thank you so much for the question. There's many issues. If I have to narrow it down to the immediate three, I think the first would be the cleanliness of the city. Before we can invite anyone into the city, before we can invite investors, just for our own well-being, quality of life, we need to clean the city up. My second would be infrastructure, potholes, the streets. I hit a pothole the other day and I had to just get out to make sure my tire was still attached. So definitely potholes, infrastructure. And on day one, I would create a committee. I would create a committee because the council members has authority to do that. It would be bringing in all the professionals and talking about how we can repair the streets and to keep those going forward. And my third would be job creation. With the high rents, landlords looking for tenants that can pay the rent, part-time employment, we need job creation. And in order to do that, just to circle back, we have to clean the city up first. As far as infrastructure, I would definitely, for that committee, Dave Kinney would be my first choice. He worked when I worked for the City Hall administration, Dave Kinney could run the streets in his sleep. So I would definitely put him on the committee, people that so we don't have to reinvent the wheel. I would just definitely look for professionals.
I'm sorry, you seem to be having some technical difficulties.
And the last one would be affordable housing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lee.
May I ask a question again, please?
What are the top 3 issues that you believe that the residents of Niagara Falls will face in the next 3 years? How do you plan to solve them?
In the next 3 years, with everything that's been coming through the agenda, bankruptcy is definitely on the line. I believe that we need economic development. We need more jobs. That changes the mentality of people. More money. What's going on now, it'll lower the crime rate. It'll also give us a better quality of life. The crime is due to poverty. I don't know if anyone knows that, but it's a lot of crime, and that's because people are bored. There's not anything to do. You look around, it's just abandoned, it's neglect. It just needs to get cleaned up. Infrastructure, we need better infrastructure, economic development, and something for the youth. The youth, I will always advocate for the youth. I'm here for the youth. I have a child, senior this year. And yes, those are my topics.
And Mr. Kinney.
Quality of life is probably the biggest thing that the city's been facing for quite some time. We need to bring in the jobs that will afford people to get their homes, to support their families, and not live paycheck to paycheck. That is obvious. We talk about infrastructure. New things have been being put into place, and there is an infrastructure problem. For someone that's worked for the city for 35 years and working on the streets, I know it firsthand. That's why in DPW, they changed the process on how they build streets now. We used to do 30, 40 streets with an inch, mill down an inch and overlay it, and it looked pretty. But it only looked pretty for a year or 2 years, and the street crumbled. Now they dig down 4 inches. This is something that my dad started and I continue to do. We put 3 inches of binder and then 1.5 inches of top. Yes, the city's not getting 30, 40 roads done in a year, but they're getting 20 done. We're getting quality now instead of quantity. Those are the things that the city council needs to work with the administration to continue to do. Support our unions and our police and fire and our public safety. We need them. They have been attacked lately, and it's unfortunate that they have been attacked. With their support, they can help deter the crime. They can help. An advocate of youth is somebody else is up here. Like I said, my whole life I was coaching. I served on boards, many boards for youth organizations. There's some stuff out there that we need to promote it better. We need to promote our youth. We need to promote the schools program every summer that they have. We need to work together. That's the way the city's going to come, when we work together. We have to stop fighting amongst each other. That is one of the biggest problems that is going on.
Thank you, Mr. Kinney. Second question will begin with Mr. Munoz. For those who are regular attendees of fall city council meetings, for those of us who cover the fall city council meetings, one thing has become quite evident the last couple of years. They've become unruly, contentious, lacking in civility. How would you restore some sense of civility to city council?
Absolutely. First off, I want to say that the protests that I see at city council are about as American as they get. You see what's going on in America right now. I do not fault the people for their frustrations. I do not fault them for voicing their anger. And I believe at the same time in civility, in civil conversation, and I believe that people should have a voice. And if elected, I will fight for the people to continue to have a voice at City Council. And at the same time, I believe it's up to our leaders to help control our citizens and have the necessary conversations outside so that they don't come into City Hall with all that frustration. Because I understand it. I feel the same frustrations that they do. And I commend them for voicing their opinions. And at the same time, the City Council has a job to do. And we need to work together and not be divided. So, if elected, I will hold regular meetings with my constituents so that we don't get to that point at City Hall that people have to go in there hollering and screaming. But as I said, it's about as American as you can get to protest when you don't like something. So I actually commend the people for voicing their opinions.
Mr. Miles?
So as it pertains to bringing order back into City Council, I don't like gaslighting. So one thing that I'm really going to express is that before we begin to talk about order from our constituents, the people, maybe we need to start bringing order back into the actual City Council body first, because we actually are the power of the purse. We actually control where monies are spent, where finances go, right?
Yeah.
So with that being the case, how are we actually having a meeting about where the funding goes without a city controller sitting in our meetings? We never had one there, and they're actually in control, and they have all of the answers to where our money has been spent. So that's out of order. We don't have any DPW, and this is because they're probably not allowed, but we don't have any department heads, code enforcement and whatnot, our chiefs. We don't have anyone there, so when people come and ask questions, they're looking at us sit there like statues because we don't have answers, and the people who actually have answers are cozy at home, probably eating dinner at that time.
Right.
So when you don't have that, and we don't have the answers, but we're holding a meeting and then we're voting on how we're going to spend your tax dollars. We're doing that, and then we don't answer any questions that you may have. That's going to actually make people irate. That's going to make them feel some kind of way. So therefore, I think before we ask them to bring order for themselves, we need to actually create order in City Hall as a governing body, a co-equal branch of government. We're supposed to be checks and balances. We're not supposed to go along just to get along. We're not supposed to be rubber stamps. And they're saying that, and they're tired of it. So apparently, yes, absolutely, I understand their frustration. And we can't demonize them for that.
Thank you, Mr. Miles.
I also agree, by the time residents reach the city council meeting, they're very upset, and that's probably their only outlet to voice their concerns. So I get it 100%. I'm actually one of those residents. I think it could be structured a little better. I think as far as leadership, once we're elected as a council member, and once we get that agenda packet, we should be working behind the scenes, day and night, getting the information to relay that to you properly. So we need to do our homework as leaders, and we need to be able to portray that back to you in a way that you can understand it. If it's development, we need to break that down to you as far as taxes, how is it going to affect you, and most importantly, how is it going to rebuild and help our city. So I agree with you, I stand with you, I am a resident, I'm a real life citizen, I'm a politician, I'm a different type of politician, but I can relate to you. So I applaud you for speaking out. Once again, it has to be structured, and our leaders have to do a better job on their homework, their research, so we can get that information to you properly. Thank you.
So I'm very authentic, I'm very transparent, and I like to talk to the people because I am for the people, I am of the people, and I would like to know how many people actually attended a city council meeting. Okay, so I would like to, does everyone understand why we're irate? And I say we because I've been to the podium, and I would also like to be across from the podium. We're irate because a lot of things that are on the agenda get passed the day before, or the meeting is unscheduled, or we don't know. We would like to know where the little bit of money that is left is going to. So I understand, because that's why I'm here. I would like to know where the money is, and I would like to know where is it being distributed to, because a lot of money is in undesignated items, and I don't know where that is. I'm done.
Right.
Mr. Kinney?
Okay, if I can answer the question, please, thank you.
Thank you.
I'm all for the residents having a voice, but we need to do it in a civil manner. We don't need it to be a circus. You have the right to be passionate. Everyone has the right to be passionate. I mean, I get upset many of times, and I raise my voice. It's all part of being who you are and being human. But we need to be civil with it. We need to have more communication between the city councilman and the residents. I'm all about facts. I talked to a lot of residents when I was the director, and I gave them facts. Unfortunately, sometimes facts feel like an excuse, and I hate that, but sometimes that's what is needed. You need to get the facts. We have to stop sugarcoating things. The residents need to know how things are, why they are, and what needs to be done, and how we can get them done to accomplish them properly. So I'm all for the residents speaking their mind. I'm also for the residents to work one-on-one with the city council and let us know prior to the meeting. If you know something's on the agenda and you have questions, reach out. That's where we'll be able to get you the answers and the answers that you need.
Next question is from...
No, what about surviving?
Can you please repeat the question?
The question in sum was, how do you restore civility to city council?
Okay, so basically, I've been attending city council meetings, and I understand the reasons for the residents' frustration, because bills or motions are being voted on without having a contract or without having the specific person that will be able to answer all the questions, to be there and answer the questions. So I do understand their frustration. However, yes, in order to restore civility, I think that the city council has already tried to do that. They limited the speaking time to 3 minutes per person to speak at the podium. One person cannot speak on more than 2 agendas, and there are already rules set in place for that to be in effect. So so the city council has already worked on that. And if somebody is being irate or kind of maybe crossing the boundaries per se, they also have tried to call the officers or the police to get them out of the meeting. Sometimes it works, sometimes it didn't. Do I support calling the police? No, I don't. Because we need to empathize with them. We need to understand why they're frustrated, why they are acting like this, because they're being deprived of basic knowledge of what's going on with their tax money. And when they see that more money is going to dog shelters instead of housing to provide for the residents of Niagara Falls, of course they're going to be a bit upset. I'm here to work with the people, for the people, I'm from the people. That's all I have to say. I'm very passionate about this. So yes, that's all I have to say about it.
Thank you, Ms. Rahman.
I know what the crack dealers are. Y'all know what the crack dealers are. Y'all know what the kids have done that's walking the streets. You have people, y'all ain't even talking about the crime rate. Y'all not talking about mental health.
We want to go ahead
Yeah, whatever.
and do the next question.
Please, I ain't even from here. And your kids, y'all talking about jobs, the kids in high school can't even fucking read. How about that? How they gonna fill out the application?
Listen, we'd like to do the next question. What information have you obtained regarding the impacts of OT emissions from the Goodyear plant on the health of the surrounding community that has been impacted by it? And from whom did you obtain any such information?
So I was actually on the Zoom meeting that they actually had for that, and I was one of the few that asked a couple of questions regarding that. And I'm not really that impressed with the answer that I received, because it was made to seem like, oh, there's nothing wrong. They did stack testing while it wasn't in full throttle, and there has been guaranteed that residents have had different types of cancers over the years due to these same emissions. I've also went to the in-person meeting that was at Reverend Kelly's New Hope on Buffalo Avenue, and we actually expressed our concern. So from the DEC, I don't feel that they have a very clear understanding as to the frustration of people who have dealt with, especially a city like ours, who dealt with, the emissions of different plants that have been throughout the years. And you're talking about, our different plants on Buffalo Avenue that has, spilled different chemicals and stuff in the ground, and we've been dealing with that for decades or whatnot, and haven't really remediated that as well. So with that being the case, yes, the DEC, we've received that information, or I've received that information regarding them as far as the emissions, to the degree that they said that, oh, I would be okay with buying a home in that area, but that's easy to say when you're on the outside looking in. So therefore, from the information that I did receive from them, I'm not impressed. I feel that that's something that still needs to be addressed. I feel like we should not, hold our tongue on it, because at the end of the day, it could be you, your child, your grandchild, generations later that's going to be dealing with the effects, long-term ramifications of these different emissions that's coming from this plant. And
Mr. Miles.
Yes, sir.
I am not familiar with the omissions and Goodyear and the quality testing, but once elected as a council member, my focus would be air quality and environmental testing throughout the entire city. Many people are sick, health issues, there's tainted soil, so it's a long process. It's one of my issues that I would love to dive into. I have children, my mom is, thank God, still around, so it would definitely be on my list once elected.
Ms. Lou?
Same, I am not, I'm ignorant to that, matter, but I will, King, ask it again, and then in 24 hours, I'll have something for you. I'll do my due diligence and do my research and find something, but I don't have, I don't know that, sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Kinney.
Unfortunately, I don't have any information on, wasn't privy to a Zoom meeting where we could see what happened with it. But like everything that's happened in the past in the city, I mean, we were made famous because of Love Canal. If there is an issue and it is making people sick, as a council, as a community, as a city, we need to stand together and make sure that it gets cleaned and gets rectified sooner than later.
Thank you, Ms. Ron.
So I don't have the knowledge of the omission or the air quality of the question you asked, because I didn't attend the Zoom meeting. But once I am elected, I can look into that. And also, this topic hits a bit home, because I own a home near Love Canal, and staying in that home has caused health issues. Children were getting sick, and that home needed to evacuate. So yes, I am affected by this, and I will take this into priority if I'm elected.
Mr. Mooney.
Thank you. I wasn't privileged to that either, but I don't need a PhD to understand that these emissions directly affect our health. They affect our youth as they're growing up and their brains are developing, and they affect all of us. I'm sure they have a direct correlation to our mental health crisis here in Niagara Falls. I'm sure they have a direct effect to our health crisis here in Niagara Falls. The reality is that Niagara Falls was built on industry. we have the byproduct of that, and we're dealing with that. We have a lot of brownfields in Niagara Falls. It's going to take a lot of work to clean all these up. And if elected, it's absolutely something we'll do, because the reality is they're not coming back to Niagara Falls, and it behooves us to move on from that and attract new development here that is sustainable and eco-friendly.
Has mentioned economic development, growing tax bases, and the like. There are two major economic development proposals that are in front of the council at this point. One is a proposal for the construction of a $1.5 billion data center campus. The other is a proposal for a now roughly $200 million event center and park, to be known as Centennial Park. Beginning with Ms. Miles, what are your positions on the data center and Centennial Park?
Thank you. Both would be excellent for Niagara Falls because we need the development, we need job creation. For the data center, when I worked in the Dykstra administration, NFR was an outside investor who made many promises. If they are going to move forward with the data center, that would be awesome. As far as Centennial Park, it's a year-round event center, which would keep people employed. We have people working part-time in hospitality, and they can't pay their rent. So any type of development for Niagara Falls is going to be a win. The question is which location, if it's zoned properly, and if it's going to create jobs. Thank you.
Ms. Lee?
I deem one to be an asset and one to be a liability. If we're gonna do the data center, that creates jobs. If we're gonna do Centennial Park, that costs the taxpayers. The budget is only $100 million per year. You asking for $200 million for Centennial Park, and then your term is up in 2 years. I don't know. I don't like it. Me personally.
Any one of us would be remiss to say that we don't want something that could possibly get 5,000 construction jobs, 500 permanent jobs. The problem that with the data center as I see it, and the event center is going to keep us year-round in the tourism industry. Having traveled with my son through many sports, when a youth can play in one of those type of arenas, their eyes light up.
Ain't nobody coming here from
The data center.
They
All right.
not coming for a water.
Do not interrupt the candidates. Show some respect. Do not interrupt the
Show some
candidates.
intelligence. Ain't nobody coming for a water park.
Okay.
The construction jobs are yes. The other shit is bullshit.
As I said, construction jobs, any of us would be, there's plenty of industrial zoned areas within the city. NFR also owns over 100 acres. The city would like to build on 12 acres. That gives them, if it's 100 acres, 88 acres to build the data center. If they were going to give us this data center and fulfill promises that they have fulfilled, that they have given to the city of Niagara Falls over the past 30 years, we would not be worrying about a data center because they have promised to build things multiple times. Ask them where their hotel is that was supposed to be at the Turtle. It's not there. Ask them about something else that they had promised. It's not there. We can have both these projects, but we need to work together. As I stated earlier, working together is what's going to move the city forward. Kicking the divide is what separated us, and that's why we're at where we're at. Thank you.
So about the Centennial Park, I actually attended the meeting. Is everybody able to hear me? No. No?
No, can't hear you.
Okay.
The mic is working. Just talk better. Come on.
Okay,
You got
so basically about Centennial Park, I I actually spoke against it in the city council meeting because there was no feasibility study done, and there would be $200 million coming out of whose pocket? That's my question. Whose pocket is it going to come out of? It's going to come out of our pocket, our taxpayers' pocket. So, so before we rule on something, I need to know where the money is going to come from. Who is paying for it? I need to see studies for it. So after I have all these information, then I can vote on it. But I really can't vote on something where I'm not getting the full picture of. So if I get the full picture of how the money will be spent, then I will consider it. As for Centennial Park, since there is no feasibility study, my stance is a no. For the data center, my stance is a yes, because one of the things I am rooting on is more job opportunities for the residents of Niagara Falls. There's a job scarcity. People are living, not even, like, they are living paycheck to paycheck, but they're struggling, they're on welfare. So the data center will bring hundreds of jobs and opportunities to the people of Niagara Falls. Once again, before ruling on any one of these developments, I will need to see the full picture. I will need to ask questions, and those questions need to be answered. So that's what I have to say about these two.
Well, first off, to become a prosperous, sustainable city, Niagara Falls must embrace reinvention on multiple fronts. I'll wait to see this feasibility study before I speak on something that I don't have all the information for. But I will say this about the data center. NFR has made many promises, and they have had deals with many, many mayors. None of them came true. If this is true, and they plan on bringing a data center here, and it will bring jobs, I am always in favor of jobs being brought to Niagara Falls. I am always in favor of large corporations paying taxes in Niagara Falls. And at the same time, we have land zoned for that. We have land zoned for that they own. That will be easier for Niagara Mohawk to get power there as well. And that's all I have to say on it.
Finally, Mr. Miles.
So, as a councilman, as a city councilman, I have been very verbal about, my opposition as far as the Centennial Park. So, I've been about, show me the money. So I've asked very detailed questions. I would ask, $200 million, where is that coming from? Do you have any public or private sector investment? And the answer was, well, we have to secure the land first. We know that that's not true. You can have a conversation and get people on board to make your fight even greater to secure land. So with that being the case, who's gonna pay that $200 million? That's us, pretty much. 4.5 to 5% interest rate. That's a kind of casually normal municipal bond rating. Who's going to pay that $9 to $10 million a year in interest once this $200 million process has taken place? Who's going to staff this event space? Do we have any competitive advantage? Absolutely not. We can't compete with Key Bank Center. We can't compete with the Seneca Nations. We can't compete with Buffalo Bison Stadium. We can't compete. All of these different spaces. Art Park is having a horrible time trying to get acts and things together for their space. So how are we competing with them? Especially the Seneca Nations, because guess what they have? They have upfront money. Niagara Falls don't. They have three slot machines that's going to pay for every single event that comes down. We don't. We have a $100 million budget that we have to fight every year to just scratch it just to stay above ground. So with that, and no feasibility study, no land appraisal. So all of these, I'm asking all of these questions. So why would we jump ahead and support something that doesn't tell us that we can this is actually something that's good for the city? If they had a feasibility study, that would have been the first thing. But what happens is when we nose dive into something and we don't have all of the information and we don't get all of the answers and we just rubber stamp something through, then it's going to fall on the back of the people. I am not for that.
What specific steps will you take to address the city's fiscal health and ensure long-term financial stability.
Cancel it that time.
This week.
I'm sorry, one more time?
What specific steps will you take to address the city's fiscal health and ensure long-term financial stability?
I believe that we have a main street that looks like, I don't know. Can we start there? Can we start rebuilding that? The city owns homes, the abandoned buildings, can we do that? We have, Sal Magley Stadium, we have a youth, I don't know, can we get them, Coachella, can we get them, things like that to generate, we have money, we don't know how to create more money. We need to create more money. We need to use what we have. We have everything that we need to make this city thrive again. We have everything. So we have to utilize it. Let's rebuild what we have already.
Mr. Kenny?
We need to start focusing on some small businesses and help them promote the small business owners. We've been lucky in 3rd Street, there's been a few, they just had a grand opening for the Daredevil Museum. You have a couple bars that opened. Yes, they're not for every resident, but for those residents that can partake, we need to start getting small business, and as a city, we need to promote small business. This city, I remember Main Street growing up, and that's what it was all small businesses. It was your mom and pops, and we promoted them, and we supported them. And that's when this city was flourishing, when we supported each other. We need to go back to the basics. Get Main Street, get 3rd Street, Pine Avenue, start to revitalize those and then branch out. How can that start? We need to put more pressure on the state. The state is making millions and pounds millions from us with the New York State Park. There was a Reclaim Niagara a few years back where they just did a small study where they said if we just charged $1 per car, that the state gave us $1 per car, they said there was over 17 million cars being parked there yearly. Well, why can't the state give us $1 per car? That was just something that was thrown out years ago. But if you think about it, it makes sense. Thank you.
Can you please repeat the question again?
What specific steps will you take to address the city's fiscal health and ensure long-term financial stability?
Okay, so even before being elected as a city council member, I've already worked with small businesses to move over here to have their businesses stand up. And I've worked actively with them and supported them. And if elected with that fiscal responsibility, what I would do is I would like to support local small businesses with to make Niagara Falls thrive again. I want to make investments into programs that will help attain the youth's special skills besides from education so that they can go ahead and go the entrepreneur line and make their own money that would benefit our community as well. And about the fiscal responsibility, I want to see where the money is coming from and where it's going. Because sometimes we are consistently passing for motions where money is being poured into, but we are not getting any results. So I want to look into that and see where the money is being used and where can it be better used for. I want to join organizations that would help the city make a greater place where it can thrive and make it more beneficial for our city financially, economically, and also when we grow mentally and emotionally, the people of Niagara Falls will feel uplifted, and that's my end goal. Thank you.
Mr. Mooney?
Thank you. Niagara Falls needs to change the narrative. The city needs a rebrand that highlights revitalization, quality of life, and opportunity, not just the falls. To thrive, Niagara Falls needs to transition from a tourist stopover to a livable and investable city. That means economic diversification, urban reinvestment, smart marketing, and community empowerment. reduce dependency on tourism, and create sustainable economic pathways for residents. How we're going to do that? We're going to establish a business diversification task force to identify sectors like clean energy, remote work hubs, logistics, and advanced manufacturing. Create local business accelerators, offering grants, low-interest loans, mentorships for small businesses, minorities, and we need to partner with NAACP, with our schools, to increase unions in this city. The reality is electric, plumbing, trades like this are a dying breed. They're a dying breed because we are not talking about them enough, and we are not pushing them in our schools. The reality is everybody doesn't want to go and be a doctor. Some want to work hands-on, and they're fantastic jobs and fantastic businesses. And it's something that we need to talk more about in schools and get our youth started from a very young age with it. Thank you.
Okay, so first I think we should stop being parochial, very narrow-minded as it pertains to how we develop in our city. We have a potential of a five-star city. It's a natural wonder of the world. It's actually considered now a forgotten natural wonder of the world. And so we have to be able to learn how to bring and regenerate revenue into the city instead of, scratching for, small crumbs. Also, small business investment. We definitely need to make sure that we take care of those businesses that have been the backbone of our city, even over times like, during the pandemic. Businesses that made it through that we should not, make them suffer. We should not penalize them and not really pay that much attention to them, and pretty much a slap in the face by spending X amount of dollars in so many other spaces, but not really covering those spaces that have taken care of home. Three really. We need to stop shuffling our real estate among friends and family. Nepotism is a thing here in There's a reason we have people here who pay more for rent than they would for the mortgage. So why are we giving all of our real estate to certain businesses and certain developers when we have people who actually pay more for rent than they would for that mortgage? Why are we really pushing more so for first-time homeowner type program? So more people, because what happens then, that put those homes back in the tax base. You see, so at the end of the day, there's ways that we can pull money in, but the thing is it's going to take us being more connected with the people and not throwing things on the back, because what happens is these backdoor deals, the side conversations and whatnot that continuously happens, you can't rub two quarters on the table and think they're going to turn into $1 at any point.
Thank you, Mr. Miles. Ms. Miles.
All right now.
I think it goes back to togetherness. I think leadership needs to work together. We need to go back, it goes back again, to cleaning up the city, bringing in investors, and for the immediate change, the small business support. We have an NFC department, URA, who supposed to give loans and grants to small businesses so they can maintain and sustain. Right now, those positions are vacant. It's up to the city council members to make sure those grants and loans are given to small businesses. So that's number one. The number two immediate change would be to work with the state, Albany. We have to sit down at the table, administration and council members, and take on Albany. So that's number two. And then job creation, of course, and bringing in investors.
And our last question before you do your closing statement is this. Niagara Falls has done a full reassessment since 2006. The current equalization rate for Niagara Falls is 50%. Both the New York State Financial Restructuring Board on June 19, 2017, and the Niagara Falls Financial Advisory Panel, November 30, 2015, recommended a citywide reevaluation. And the New York State Financial Restructure Board specifically stated, and I quote, "The city will gain significant benefit from a citywide reassessment of all properties and across all categories. End of quote. Since it has been so long since the city has done a reassessment, inequities between neighborhoods have increased, resulting in some residents paying more taxes than they should and others paying less. Do you support a full reassessment? Why or why not?
Mr. King, we start with you.
I was around in 2006 and a homeowner, and when that reassessment came through, my assessment went up. I was not happy. So I know if this was to come to fruition, it's going to make very angry residents. I tried to fight mine at the time. I had to get information on houses that were in my area. So I gave them the way my house was described. There was none in my area described the same way. So I went across Hyde Park because I'm on the east side. I went to the west side. They told me it didn't count. My taxes went up. It was something unfortunate. It was something that me and my wife at the time, we were had to rebudget. At this point, I can't say if I'm for or against. I was not happy when my house was reassessed, I can tell you that. I know there is a big disparity right now in this city, especially like this housing market had soared after COVID. So there is people who have houses that are way under assessed. And there's also people that have houses that are over assessed. It's a touchy situation. I would really, if I'm on the council, to really indulge in it a lot more and see where we can come to a happy medium. It may not have to be 100%. It might have to be a little bit, but at this time I would need to really do a lot more research if it comes to a vote.
So regarding the assessment, the Niagara Falls rent is already high, and I feel if the assessment comes through again, it might make the rent higher, which might make the residents of Niagara Falls, it might be harder for them to even pay their rent, because most likely the landlords how they will compensate for it is they're going to raise the rent. So we need to come to a happy medium of where we can see properties where they are under assessed and make them assessed to its true value, and the properties that are over assessed, maybe look at them and maybe come to their true value as well. So at the moment, I don't have an answer for this. I would need to look more into it, because there are a lot of variables that come into play when triggering the assessment for all properties of Niagara Falls.
Mr. Williams.
Thank you. As a real estate professional, I feel like I can speak on this very clearly. Here's the reality of it. A reassessment is going to come, whether it comes now or later, whether you're in favor of it. And let me tell you, I'm not in favor of it. I live here. I own property here. It more than likely will come. It's been 23 years since we've had one, well overdue, and the city needs money. So unless we can work together to grow our city, the economic growth, and add more money, it's gonna come. So, am I in favor of it? No. I live here, I work here, I don't want my taxes to go up either. But you want councilmen that are gonna speak the truth to you. The reality is, it probably will happen one day. It may not be tomorrow, but it will happen. So, that being said, I'm not in favor of it, but what's gonna happen is gonna happen whether we like it or not. If the city cannot make more money, the only way the city is going to make money is through taxing you. So if we work together and we can bring more jobs here and the city can be more pliable to attract large businesses, we may not have to have it as soon, but it will come eventually. So, you want transparency in city government? That's transparency for you.
I think probably one of the toughest things that I have an issue with is that we're not paying attention to those who have already been reassessed there are people who are actually paying well above their home rate, the tax rate for their homes, and then there are people who are still paying taxes that were being paid back in the late 1990s. So I'll never support something that blindsides the residents, but my thing is this: do we need a reassessment? We need a very fair, a very transparent, a full and accurate reassessment. However, how we go about the reassessment, because here's the thing, this is my third time doing this up here, and the same question has been asked twice. So one thing I don't believe in is continuously asking a question just to get an answer and not really having any real results. The true story is we do need a reassessment, but there are people who bought their homes after 2006 in those unassessed areas, and we shouldn't penalize them for it, but maybe it should be done in a phased out type of way that is fair to everyone. But if we keep kicking the can down the road, I'm not for kicking the can down the road. True transparency is yes, we absolutely need one. It's about how we're gonna go about doing it. So instead of saying, we cannot just make it seem like it's something that's gonna be in the desolate future, but we need to actually put boots to the ground and make sure that we get the ball rolling in a fair and equitable manner for everybody. Because there are people now that are still paying over-assessed taxes on their home.
Thank you, Mr. Miles. Ms. Miles.
Thank you. I believe timing is everything. It is needed at some point, but in the current state that we are in here in Niagara Falls, we can't afford to do it right now. People are just looking for basic services for the taxes that they're already paying. So time is everything. It is needed eventually, but just not right now.
Ms. Lee, and we will wrap this up.
I'm gonna stir the pot a little bit. I do believe one is definitely needed, but not right now. Not right now, and if it was done already for the people in 2006, it needs to be done for the people that, that hasn't had it in the last 23 years. And at the same time as we're looking at the citizens and doing a reassessment on them, we also need an internal investigation at the same time. So let's just do everything if we're gonna do it. Yeah, let's. I'm done.
Thank you. We will now take the final and closing statements from the candidates, and we'll begin in the opposite direction that we started. Ms. Rahman, you are first. 2 minutes.
So, once again, my name is Silvana Rahman. I'm running to be your next city council member, and what I will bring to the table is accountability, transparency, and truth to the people. I will always continue to fight for the residents of Niagara Falls. I don't have any political connection. I do not have any political background. I literally began to run because I was frustrated, like many of the Niagara Falls residents, with what is happening to our city. We want to stay here. We want to grow here. We want to thrive here. And in order for that to happen, change needs to come. And since I've been attending these city council meetings, I see that there are disagreements and there's no unity amongst the council. And I want to bridge that gap. I want to bring unity within the council members. I want to have conversations. I don't want to have conflict. However, I am not afraid to stand up and speak my ground, speak my truth. And that's what I will do. I respect the citizens, and whatever your complaints or concerns are, I will listen to it. I will take it to heart. I will make a decision based on the proof or the materials that are set forth, the any studies or any proof that are set forth for a motion to pass, and also the opinions of the residents, how they feel about a specific motion. We need to consider everybody, and that's what I'm here to do. I'm not here to be anybody's puppet. My vote cannot be swinged either way. I'm literally here for the people, from the people, and that's what I promise to do. Bring accountability, bring transparency, and be truthful. That's all. And please, this early voting has started. Please go ahead. Please do your due diligence on the candidates. Please go ahead and vote in the Avatar Niagara Falls Station. And June 24th is the official election day. And please vote for Silvana Rahman. Thank you. I hope to serve you all.
Many think Niagara Falls has given up. I haven't, and I know you haven't either. I'm not running to manage a declining city. I'm running to lead a revitalization. This is about restoring pride, creating opportunity, and building a Niagara Falls that works for all of us. We have one of the greatest wonders of the world. It's time our city reflects that. My name is Noah Munoz, and thank you for everyone's time tonight.
Once again, I thank the NAACP, the Niagara Gazette, and everyone who made their way out here this evening. I am the city councilman running for re-election, and one thing that I believe in is common sense government. I believe that we should ask questions. I believe that if we don't get answers to those questions, we don't need to move any type of legislation forward until we receive the proper answers to whatever questions that we may have regarding any piece of legislation that comes across our desk. I'm not one to go along just to get along. I'm not one to, just rubber stamp something because, I tell you who I'm connected to. I'm connected to my constituents. You guys are the people that I work for, and I think that's the thing that I'm praying that gets elected this year is people who actually work for the people, not for a party, not for an administration, not for any outside sources, except for those people who we actually support and who we actually represent in the city of Niagara Falls. Until then, I'm going to continue to remain steadfast when it comes down to fighting for those quality of life issues that we're dealing with, the same issues that we get at the podium when they're coming to us and they're actually complaining about situation. They have every right because we're an unbalanced government. So therefore, I'm Dante Miles. I ask that on this primary election, on the 24th and early voting, that I get your support, and I pray that I can remain steadfast and make sure that I'm a good, proper representation for the city of Niagara Falls.
Thank you once again for coming out. My name is Bridget Miles, and I would greatly appreciate it if you would vote for me, consider voting for me. I am for the people. I believe in togetherness. A house divided will definitely fall. So if we can't work with the administration, regardless of who that is, it's never going to work. It's time for a new direction. One council member can't do anything. We need 3 people to move votes, to move agenda, to make changes. So ask yourself, educate yourself, what has been done thus far, and what can we do going forward? And we can do so in a new direction, a clean slate. So please vote for if you can't make it to early voting, the primary election is June 24th. Thank you again for coming out.
As they stated, it is early voting, and I hope that I do get your vote. Primary is on June 24th. My name is Micaiah Lee. If elected, I will be the first African-American city councilwoman. Also, I've been LA, Florida, Georgia. I've been a lot of places, and this has been by far the worst one, which means that this is bad government. This is bad governing. Let's stop bringing the same people in. It just needs everything needs to be new, in my opinion. Let's rebuild this city how it needs to be. Let's go back to, I would like my childhood memories to come back to me. Get some for my daughter and her peers. Let's just rebuild the city back up. Again, my name is Micaiah Lee, and I am the first name on the little bubble when you see it, and I hope that you fill it in for me. Thank you.
I would also like to thank everyone again for attending, for the NAACP and the Gazette for hosting. I'd like to commend the other candidates on an excellent debate and forum. It's been an honor to sit up here with the other 5 of you. As I stated before, I'm all about truth and facts. And if I'm lucky enough and have your vote to get on the city council, that's what I want to bring to the people, is the truth and the facts. Facts can sound, like I stated earlier, sound like an excuse, but it also is what is going to move us forward, is everyone being on the same page, everyone knowing why things are done certain ways and why they have to be done the way they're being done. Together is how we're going to be able to make a difference in this city. I got a little rub back at my fundraiser because I said there's no I in team, but there's an M and E, and that spells me, but it also means you, and you that are sitting out there. We have to be a team for us. Yeah, it does sound a little stupid, I know, but we have to be a team if we want to move this city forward. We can't be individuals. We can't be fighting amongst each other. You just witnessed 6 people together that have given their thought and process with civility and dignity, and this is what we need to be able to present as a city council to the residents of the city of Niagara Falls. Thank you.
I want to thank my co-moderator, Renee Kimball, for her time and her insightful questions. And once again, we urge you to take advantage of early voting, and if you don't vote early, vote on